Thank you for staying behind. I think the next session hopefully will excite you, but we just have heard some exciting news from the Thai members of SBMA, the former of a member, together with the TFAX, is launching a feasibility study on this Thailand Gold benchmark, and we'll work with them in the near future. But today we are here to talk about Southeast Asia, and the session is a kind of an update on the gold market in Southeast Asia. This panel will give us a unique opportunity to look at the region through the eyes of the most representative members of the Singapore Bullion Market Association. Each of our panelists bring a distinct perspective from their segment of the gold value chain, and together they provide us with a snapshot of the ASEAN gold market development. I'm very proud to note that they are all active and proud members of SBMA, contributing to our mission of building Singapore as a global gold hub and connectivity in Asia-Pacific market with the world. Allow me to introduce my distinguished panelists. On my left-hand side is Shaokai Fan. He is from World Gold Council, and who will give us an insight into how the Forward SBMA 2030 was conceived and what it is all about. Next to Shaokai will be Nikos Kavalis from Metal Focus. Metal Focus is one of the world's best leading market independent research firm, providing data-driven analysis of trends shaping ASEAN bullion market. And on the last one, on my left, is Amar Singh from StoneX, representing the financial services and trading side. He will give us a snapshot of the ASEAN gold market and how he sees the Thai gold market current state of play. And the only lady in the group, Ms. Nana, we call it Nana, CEO of the Lao Bullion Bank. She will highlight to us how an emerging market in mainland Southeast Asia is developing its bullion infrastructure and creating new opportunity for the markets. Together, these panelists embody the diversity of our membership, research, trading, institutional development, and market connectivities. I look forward to hearing how they see ASEAN gold market evolving, and most importantly, how this development benefit their own organization and all the stakeholders. With that, I would like to start with Shaokai, and I would like everyone, since we have 36 minutes and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so let's say we have a 5 minute each, and then we have some meaningful conversation. Maybe Shaokai, you can enlighten us what the SBMA Forward SBMA 2030 is all about. And Shaokai is, our World Gold Council is a management committee member, and the management committee has actively working on this project for the last few years. Shaokai.
Thank you, Albert. I will not take 5 minutes. I think I will yield much of my time to my esteemed panelists. But Forward SBMA 2030 is a project that examines how Singapore can play a growing and more central role as a global gold trading center within the gold market. A couple of years ago at the APPMC conference in Singapore, I said specifically why I thought Singapore had a very bright future as a global gold trading center. And in very simplistic terms, it's because the vast majority of gold demand is in Asia, and a very large part of the gold supply is either from Asia itself or from areas very close to Singapore, like Australia, specifically Western Australia, which is even in the same time zone as Singapore. And despite the fact that the physical market, both supply and demand, is largely now centered in Asia, the largest financial center for gold trading remains London. And of course, we know why. London has a lot of history, all the infrastructure, rule of law, et cetera. And for all those great reasons, London is still the major trading center. But with all the activity in the physical gold market in the East, it makes more sense for there to be another major gold trading center in Asia. And I thought that Singapore could play that natural role because of all the great things that we know, Singapore is good at. It has, very strong financial institutions. It has good rule of law. It has a very capable government. It's also located in a very convenient location. So with all these factors, we think Singapore can do more. So what specifically is Project Lion 2, also known as SBMA Forward 2030? It's a group effort among various different members of the SBMA to engage with the Singapore government to see what more we can do to raise Singapore's stature as a global gold trading center. And that might include things like improving how gold is cleared and settled in Singapore. It might also include things like more gold storage in Singapore. There's already a lot of storage locations in Singapore, but is there a case potentially to attract foreign central banks, so sovereign gold holdings to be stored in Singapore? Because we know that right now at a global level, there's a lot of concern among some central banks about where they put their gold, where they store their gold. And I think Singapore offers a very neutral but very safe alternative to the current major storage locations for central bank gold. So, this project is still going on. We've been engaging with the Singapore government at many different levels, and we're hoping to hear back from them on their views. But, I think that with the developments in the gold market this year, obviously the gold price has moved up a lot, but also there's a lot more gold activity in our region, and already there's a lot of high net worth individuals who have moved their gold to Singapore. I'm hopeful that the Singapore government can see that Singapore can be sort of a natural magnet for gold trading in the future and will help to support the development of this market going forward. So I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shaokai. We aspire to become a global hub in Asia, and all the study which we have put together has been with the relevant authority, and we are in constant dialogue, and we are still waiting for some feedback from them. Maybe next, I'd like to have Nikos to give us some figures about Southeast Asia development and how, from his angle, how he sees the future of the Southeast Asian market. Nikos.
Thanks, Albert. When Albert first told me that he wants me to speak about Southeast Asian demand to a Thai forum, I thought, well, what the hell do I have to tell these guys? They know everything a lot better than I do. If anything, you are very kind to share your insights with us so that we put everything together. So what I will look at doing is, rather than tell you what you already know about your market, kind of look at how the role it plays in the global landscape for gold demand. So first of all, ASEAN countries tend to account for anything between 5 and 10% of annual global gold consumption. And this is obviously, it might seem small compared to the size of India and China, but if you look at it in terms of per capita consumption, it's quite healthy. And even more importantly, if you look at it in terms of what share of annual GDP among these Southeast Asian countries is diverted into gold, it actually stacks up extremely well. Thailand, for example, it's the share of GDP that you guys spend on gold jewelry and investment per annum is double what China does, and in Vietnam it's almost treble. And if we look at ASEAN overall, as an overall community or grouping, it's about 50% higher than China's. So it's a very important part of the global market. Within that, Thailand is, of course, one of the biggest, within ASEAN, Thailand is one of the leading consumers. And you will see that the fact that you've seen the share of that Thailand has accounted of the group's consumption is lower in the last few years. This is not a reflection of lackluster demand, but rather this is a reflection of the fact that the Thai market has modernized itself, has evolved very dramatically, as we heard from earlier presentations, and basically what local trading companies have managed to achieve is democratize access to the local London market through the various online platforms. So rather than lack of demand, what we've seen is demand moving away from the traditional physical, less liquid forms of physical bars and jewelry and into online platforms which have a much better buy-sell spread, much better flexibility, and can also be utilized more efficiently if you want to mobilize it and, let's say, borrow against your holdings, etc. Now, if we want to look at what's been happening recently, without a doubt, the breakneck rallies that we've seen in the gold price have been pushing volumes down in the region. But it's very important to take into account the fact that if you were to convert these numbers into local currency terms for the different markets, these declines have been a lot more muted. In fact, until a few quarters ago, until 2 or 3 quarters ago, we hadn't actually seen a decline. It's only in the last 6 months that we are seeing a decline in the amount of money consumers are spending on jewelry. And contrary to that, if we look at investment demand, bars, coins, etc., we're actually seeing very strong resilience. I mean, the trend is still broadly positive, and if you were to convert that into local currency terms, it would be an extremely strong position. Now, one of the very interesting things about most ASEAN markets is that they're home to very vibrant two-way trading. You know, within weeks, markets such as Thailand and Vietnam can move from being massive buyers, consumers of gold to net suppliers through the very efficient recycling market that you guys have here and net disinvestment market. What is very interesting though, and this is something we're noticing in ASEAN countries, but not just in ASEAN countries, in fact all over the world, is that in the last few quarters, let's say the last year and a half, when we've seen such strong rallies in the gold price, we haven't seen anywhere near enough recycling as we had seen in previous peaks back in 2016 and 2020. And indeed, also, we haven't seen, we're seeing levels which are comparable or somewhat smaller at times than what we saw during the previous rally back in 2010, 2011, even though current price levels are naturally considerably higher, both in nominal and real terms. Why is that happening? I think it's a mixture of facts. To an extent, it's because a lot of the loosely held, or if you want to call it near market inventories of jewelry that we had before have already been scrapped. Another, in my view, even more important reason is that in the face of what's happening around the world, consumers just don't want to let go of their gold. Okay, so let's recycle it, and what do I buy afterwards? Everything else seems richly priced, overinflated, and in the face of what's going on in the world, tail risks that are fattening, geopolitical risks that abound, it's well worth keeping hold of your gold. And I'll end my presentation here. Hopefully I managed to keep to the time limit you gave me, Albert.
Yeah, you keep the excitement that Southeast Asia is a growing market.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well,
so I will ask you a follow-up question later.
You ask me the follow-up question later, yes.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a positive outlook for the
Thank you. I think the audience would love to hear that. Next, thank you. Next, we were in Laos not too long ago, just a few days ago we were in Laos, participating in the first Laos Gold Festival, which the LBB put together in a couple of months, and we were all impressed with what that had been done to the Lao people and to the world. So Nana, maybe you can give us a little bit of update on what LBB is doing and how you see the Lao market from your angle.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Albert, and thanks for having me in this wonderful forum. I learned so much from previous session. So again, I got chance to meet with a couple of people, and they asked me like, what does LBB do? So allow me to take this opportunity to get to know you more, and also to be a newbie in the community as well. So for Bullion Bank, we are a subsidiary of a conglomerate group called PTL Holding. PTL Holding runs businesses in various sectors from trading, petroleum, technology, infrastructure, and so on. They run businesses for almost 30 years. Why we are doing what we are doing? So basically, for the mission of LBB is simple. We would like to bring gold outside the systems back into the systems by doing three things. Number one is to standardize the Lao bullion industry, modernize the gold industry, and to provide the right products and services to customers to meet the demand. Why do we have to do this? You might wonder. Actually, we have a few problems in Laos. You might have heard that in the last 20 years, we operate gold mines, and the government has been granting, like they granted almost 60 gold mines in the country. Unfortunately, we do not have refinery, we do not have proper banking services that would accommodate this industry. So the Doré bar gold would go outside the country to be refined in other countries such as Hong Kong, Australia, etc. And they settle the money and the payment outside the country. So the exports, the money from the exports didn't come back into the systems. Therefore, we come up with the 3 pain points of the country. Number one, even though we are the third largest, gold mine industry in Southeast Asia, but we do not have institutional support to, make the market there. And therefore, the gold flowing out of the country, we cannot collect back the money. And guess what? Just like Thailand and other Asian, culture, we love collecting gold. So the gold that are being set at people's household is equivalent to almost 10 billion US dollar. That's why I said our job is to bring back the gold from outside the system back into the system, make it transactional with international market. That's why the development of the Bullion Bank is necessary there. With the bank only, we cannot do things. We have to build the ecosystems. So how to build the ecosystems? Our baby step is to make the bullion banking service happen, which we did, and also collect back the gold from outside back into the systems and to manage the reserve properly. Once we have the reserve being managed properly, we have to manage the supply chain properly as well. And remember one pain point that I told you, we don't have international standard refinery, so that is why we are building one in the country, and it is going to start operating this month. You might wonder, how do we incentivize people to bring in the gold? We have what is so-called gold deposit account, and customers can deposit fixed term of gold with us, and we give out 2% interest per annum to them as fixed term deposit of 12 months. And other products that we offer would be gold medal loan, because we take deposit, we pay you the interest, and we have to loan out to earn the interest as well. One thing that we did, which is quite different, is customers who deposit the gold, we also issue what is so-called gold certificate. Customers can take these gold certificate to be collaterals with other banks and financial institutions in Laos to get loans and financing so that they can do activities that can boost the economy right away. And this such gold certificate is a legal document as equivalent to land title deed. I mentioned the products already, so I wouldn't repeat this. So we just, have simple products. And our refinery is going to be up and running soon, as mentioned. I think our key success factors and very important point is we have to partner with financial institutions and also to really proper building the ecosystems with relevant partners, such as we work very closely with the goldsmith shops. We make ourselves join as a member of Lao Gold Gem and Jewelry Association. As Mr. Albert mentioned earlier, we work with them to organize what is so-called Lao Gold Festival. And we brought in, actually, Mr. Albert, I just got the number from the team. They printed out the badges, around 20,000 badges. So I believe there are more people visited us. And also, we are a member of Lao Banker Association, which is a part of ASEAN Banker Association as well. Of course, we got great support from SBMA to become a member of SBMA as well. And the latest product that we have is we just launched our application, which is called LBB Plus. And this LBB Plus can be used for both local customers and also foreign customers. I think I will also manage my 5 minutes there, Mr. Albert, if I may.
You are very good on timing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nana mentioned, thank you very much. Nana mentioned one very important thing that they done is everything they do is taking baby steps, but in the right direction. And to be in the right direction, Nana and the LBB and the management behind LBB come to Singapore two and a half years ago. And we were engaged through the APPMC and as well as many other meetings and also connection meeting with various parties in Singapore. So the thing that we have seen on her slide, which she only has 5 minutes to explain, if I give her half an hour, she will give you more details. And the thing that has been achieved is not baby step. They have achieved tremendously in 2.5 years. And I congratulate them, and I think we'll continue to work together. Last but not the least, I have the most important person as an anchor. Amar has been in the business for more than 20 over years.
Almost 30 now.
30 now, right. So I met him 30 years ago when he was in India. And across the different years, he worked with various banks. He basically worked with all the important banks, all which related to gold. And now he's with StoneX, relaxing himself.
Thank you, Albert.
And he is going to share with us about his view on the ASEAN physical flow. And also, he will comment on your Thailand gold market. Let's hear what Amar said.
So first of all, I'll start. Albert, thank you so much for making me part of this panel and giving me a very easy subject in front of such a knowledgeable audience who knows in and out ASEAN market. As my friend Nikos said earlier, talking about Southeast or ASEAN market in front of these stalwart of ASEAN market, I think is not, it's really something which not easy for me, but I'll try my best effort to share what I think ASEAN market. Just a quick intro about me. I know time is running pretty fast. I have been involved with Thailand markets since 2009. So I know this market, how quickly it has evolved. And when I saw the presentation earlier today, when Kun Pawan, Kun Golf, Kun Bunrat, as well as Kun Thai made, it only makes me more believe that how strong the business has gone. But let me quickly go on this subject. So I think there are one topic which is basically two part of my presentation. One, physical flow of gold in ASEAN. So my friend Nikos has already covered supply demand. So without going greater detail, but I'll highlight few things, which I think is very important and materialistic. So if you look at Production side, as we all know, Indonesia, Philippines are the two main producing country. And if you look at last 5-year number, again I'll refer to metal focus, the production of ASEAN country has reached almost 200 ton, which used to be 5 years ago 130, which means definitely the business and industry is on the right track. And some of the effort which Nana just described gives me more confidence that some of the artisanal or small scale mining will come into the larger stream, which will help, of course, to grow our industry further. Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia historically produce but largely rely on import, as we all know. If you look at gold consumption, I think the consumption, as Nikos said, has changed over a period of time. As Khun Pawan was describing all the SBMA members yesterday, in a decade ago, almost 80% of the business was physical. And I still remember going to these shops, people are queuing up, people are buying the 965 bars produced by all these major bullion houses here, or jewelry, or also kilo 49. So I think clearly this was, as Kun Bulrat said earlier, it was all OTC, where people come with cash, sit down, take the token, wait for their turn, and exchange the bar for cash, and vice versa. Bar sometimes give bar and get the cash. So this is how the market was when I started coming Thailand. However, if you see now, I think Thailand is very different. So I'll come to Thailand in a minute. But Thailand, ASEAN is, now the jewelry demand has come down, but investment demand has grown substantially. As he said, it's not like demand is going down. It's not like people attraction for love has gone any low. It's just the shape and form is changing. It was physical, people buy, hold at home. It is going into the, I would say, more systematic and ease of doing and storing the business. Some figures which I will not focus much, but if you look at aggregate demand supply, 200 ton is production and roughly 200 ton is consumption. What is the problem? Problem is, as Nikos said earlier, I'll refer to his many conversations, market flipped overnight. If market moves $100, buyer becomes seller, seller becomes buyer, either way. So, and the liquidity in most of the emerging market, whether it is Indonesia, whether it is Vietnam, whether it is Thailand, is finite. As the large marketplace still remain for OTC, London and Switzerland, which means there is a back and forth import-export of physical metal, which goes in and out as and when the market moves and as and when the investor trade, whether buying and selling. Quickly, the third point which I would like to highlight, how financial and trading and refining has transformed in the last, again, I will say 10 years' time or 12 years' time. If you look at Thailand was, to be honest, in 2008-9 was the regional hub. And Singapore was mainly interbank trading, interbank risk management, and provide local London liquidity. Thailand was a large market where people were buying and selling physical, trading extensively. And also it is due to proximity catering to many countries like, as earlier said, Laos, Cambodia, and so on. So in the last 12, 13 years, as GST was abolished by Singapore, Singapore has become, I would say, major bullion regional hub. Again, it is, I would just like to say, it is catering to the region and connecting the OTC market, which is London and Singapore. Now what we have created, we have absolutely created a state-of-art refinery, which is SBMA. We have many traders across the region, mainly Thai people who have come and expanded their reach across ASEAN from Singapore, so which is trading houses. And then you have all the ecosystem like storage, vaulting, and major logistics services, and so on. Coming back to Thailand, Bangkok, in my view, is still a physical hub where people buy and sell both 49 and 965, and I'll go later on more detail. Vietnam, hope, used to be a very big market till 2010, but it got, due to a ban on all banks trading in the gold, suddenly the whole market died, and we have, as we heard, that Vietnam is opening up. Malaysia and Indonesia, I would say, is still very fragmented, however, evolving very quickly. They have also some of the other product which not rest of the region has, like Islamic gold and Sharia compliant investment and so on. Which excites me the most now as Laos Bullion Bank, I think one of the first bullion bank, I would say, in ASEAN. Now suddenly 2 bullion banks coming up in Indonesia. And Indonesia, as I said, the largest producer of gold, and also the consumption is growing as people for affection for yellow metal is pretty strong in country like in most of the emerging market, but Indonesia is also having very strong. What trends and development? I think you all have heard whole day and night today. Financialization of physical gold is the theme for the last decade. So what is happening? People were trading physical. As we all know, accessibility to trade physical is pretty tough. So what people like major Thai bullion dealers or some of the large participants in the respective market are doing, they are financializing the product, which means people can trade the same product with ease of trading. They cannot need to go and buy the bullion as they have used to do traditionally. So the biggest change, I would say, financialization, whether you call it digitalization and so on. Who is leading? I would say leading is done by Thailand again. So Thailand has led, particularly in the retail space, the business, they have led the whole region, and whole region is learning and following what Thailand does. This is the topic where I will spend some time, but sorry, I'm going back. Evolution of Thailand gold market. I think as I said, I'm too small to share in front of Kun Pawan, Kun Golf, Dr. Toy, and Kun Bolrat, but I'll share my experience. So please forgive me, all of you, in case anything I'm not saying which is what you guys think, but I'm sharing as a overseas supplier, overseas liquidity provider for local London, overseas physical trader for your material. So evolution, I think we heard from everyone, but in summary, if you ask me what has really made Thailand such a well-established, deep market today where everybody knows about this product. Number one, I think removing the tax to 0%, which was, in my view, I thought I put in 90s, but I heard today it was 92. So 92, I think this is the biggest step towards, in my view, where Thailand industry exists today. Because this connected straight to the local London market. And you got a platform where you can provide product, you can trade seamlessly, you can also hedge your risk without much of problem. The second thing I would say, what fueled further, is Singapore brought GST in play, which was 1994. Albert, please correct me, I think it was 94. And they incorporated gold as part of GST. And suddenly the whole physical business, which was quite vibrant in Singapore, absolutely died, and Thailand, Vietnam became the key market. Also, I think Thailand continued to develop, they launched Future Exchange and continue to work with the Gold Trading Association, Gold Traders Association, and evolve what people are looking for. I think the most important thing, I will say, the Gold Trader Association, whether licensing and communicating to the government to create a standard of the product, which is 965 or 49. 2, I would say making tax zero. 3rd, whether GST exemption, all these have been the stepping stone where, in my view, Thailand gold industry is today. It is one of the most vibrant, deep market, at least I have covered in my 30 years of life. So this is and I have covered well whole ASEAN region. 2010 was another landmark where linking physical to paper, again I would say this is TFEX. But the biggest change which we are witnessing today happened during COVID. What has happened? Because people were forced, and gold was volatile, as we all know. We saw all the highs happening, volatile. We saw the news article where people are queuing to sell and book the profit. But the best thing, what these people continue to innovate, continue to evolve, and they have given digitalize. I know my time has much more than, but these the people who are fronting this whole industry and providing the product and services, they are the one who are innovating, they are investing in technology and continuously making ease of investment and ease of doing business for the entire, whether it collaboration with bank to offer broader network, collaboration to the government platform, Pautan, and then their self-saving and then integrating with vaulting storage. So I would say, I would like to congratulate to the Thai Gold Trader Association and particularly the 3 or 4 major bullion dealers who has continued to innovate and digitalize and make easy access to the Thai people. But so I would like to congratulate and stop here, Albert. Sorry, in my passion, I took more than I was as supposed.
Thank you, Amar. Amar has given a very comprehensive view on Southeast Asia and Thailand market from his perspective and from his experience. Market evolve, and product has to develop, and talent need to nurture, and it took 30 years. And similarly, Singapore market also took about 30 years. So anything that we are contemplating to do now, we should be having a horizon of not a short term. It has to be 5, 10 to 20 years. But we need to move in the right direction. With that, I'd like to ask Shaokai, Southeast Asia is so diverse, and from developed hub like Singapore or Thailand to emerging market like Laos, how do you see ASEAN gold market converging and complementing each other going forward?
That's a really good question, but honestly, it's quite tough to answer because we've seen just the diversity of this panel, the different conditions that we find the markets in. Laos is just starting. Thailand's very, very developed and established. Different standards for gold. We have 965 here, right, which is not typical in other markets. It will take more time and effort to converge. But I don't think we need to converge in the sense of everyone using the same thing, everyone having the same product. I think the convergence that we might be seeking is more interconnectivity between these markets, more pipelines for gold, but also for capital to flow, and also for expertise and knowledge to flow as well between these markets. And I think that way we can probably interlink these markets more, not that we're all homogenized and using the same type of gold, but that we're able to trade our gold more easily across borders and move our capital more easily across borders.
Yeah, there's harmonizing standard and making free movement of gold is something that we have our aspiration that ASEAN in one day could be merged together, and this is a common market. Nikos, my question to you is, you look at the world, not just ASEAN. I'd like you to look at it from the perspective of what you see, and ASEAN is going to play a more increasing role in the global market. And concurrently, I think other part of Asia, and China in particular, and in India also, that they are also developing very fast. How are we compared in relation to these two big markets? Who is going to run faster than one another?
Listen, I think it's impossible to predict who is going to run faster or slower because this is so dependent on individual or group economic performance, right? But
Yeah.
I think the point that's very important to stress here is that there's a very distinct difference between the structure of ASEAN markets and the structure of China and India. ASEAN markets are by and large, I know that's not the case so much for Vietnam, but by and large they're pretty open economies. Flow of metal into and out of countries is undisturbed, right? Whereas if we look at mainland China and if we look at India, this is totally not the case. I mean, these are controlled markets. You can't really export materials. Importing is possible, but it's subject to, in the case of China, import quotas and the like. In the case of India, import duties. So I think in that sense, that's an opportunity that ASEAN countries have to, grasp a growing share of the global market because they have that luxury of being open and able to trade more freely.
We have some frontier market which has not opened up yet, like Myanmar. But, right? So, I mean, talking about this, I think, Nana, you have been engaging this business. You are from outside. You are not on the bullion business.
Right.
What was your experience in the past 2.5 years when you engage not only Singapore, you engage others ASEAN countries? What was your experience in engaging when you are developing your business?
Yes, maybe I can share like how did we come up with our business model for Lao Bullion Bank? We did a lot of research and we conducted a lot of feasibility studies from different bullion markets in the world, from Europe and also Africa, including ASEAN countries as well. And then we learned just like what you mentioned earlier, that each market is totally different. And of course, when we talked to the management and also when we consulted the regulators in Laos, they said, can we duplicate any country's model? And after we did all the analysis, we cannot do that. So we have to really look into what are the unique points of each country. And rather than that, we need to complement each other. So in the last 2 years, what we only focus is on like establishing relationship with different stakeholders in the industry as fast as possible. And in order to do that, we need to really, put ourselves to different like conferences to learn,
Yes.
and also to learn from others on what they are
Talk to
doing.
people.
Exactly. I mean, the key success factor of Lao Bullion Bank is, I told everyone that we are very fortunate because we are able to make friends who are relevant to the industry and who are really, really relevant to what we are doing.
Because your ask is sincere, then you get the honest answer.
Yeah, so I mean, these are a couple of things that
Yeah.
I have learned from the last couple of years.
Thank you for sharing. I give the last word to Amar, and this is a question which is a very generic question. Is looking ahead, what is the single biggest opportunity or risk you see from the ASEAN market in the next 5 years?
For me, I think I will see opportunity as gold, as Souphaphone said in the opening remark, is become one of the asset which people are no more to talk. People are coming forward and saying, I want to have my one asset, definitely gold in their portfolio, whether family office, sovereign wealth fund, of course, central bank. So I think I see a very optimistic future for gold. And as Nikos summarized, some of the large economy like India or China, their challenge is very closed economy. And I don't see a very foreseeable future they are opening up. So to me, I would see that these market will open and the volume, I'm not saying all necessarily turn into physical, but the way Thailand has done, are very similar. The trading volume, investment volume will continue to grow. I think Thailand is the most well-established deep into the investor, especially retail segment. I would say the continuous innovation, offering product to ensure that the other products, whether equity or any more, gold remain an attractive investor will be the biggest risk in my view. Otherwise, I think gold and our industry in particular has a bright future for someone who is willing to innovate and offer new products to market.
So with these positive notes, we conclude today's session. And thank you very much for all the panelists. Thank you.